Hello again and welcome back to the second part of this NF podcast. My name is Karin Hoogendijk and I'm president of NF Patients United. I have a young daughter who is diagnosed with neurofibromatosis, which is a rare genetic condition, and from now on we will be calling this NF. I'm president and I do this for a couple of years now. I really enjoy it. I really like giving a lot of awareness to this disease. And we're here to talk about the NF Academy. So before we dive into this topic, again, a quick note for those who don't know what NF is. NF stands for Neurofibromatosis, and it's a rare genetic condition which causes non-cancerous tumors to grow on the nerves. And these will show as lumps or bumps on the skin mainly. It also can affect other body parts like the bone parts. People have scoliosis, which is a curvature of the back. Sometimes they have different growth of bones in the body. There are also a lot of developmental disorders. There is also a lot of ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, learning disabilities, and more. Even brain tumors can occur. And it's very uncertain what you get if you get some of those disorders and when it will happen in your life. It's considered a rare disease, but in Europe there are 250,000 people living with this disease, which seems quite a lot. And that is why awareness and community and peer support is very important. So let's talk about our plan today. We will talk about Life After Academy, and we have the same guests as in part 1. We have André Rietman present, a Dutch psychologist. Welcome again.
Hello.
We have Daan and we have Marit. Hello. And you both have been participants at the NF Academy before. And so we will start with André. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell me what you do?
I'm André Rietman. I'm a mental health psychologist in the Sophia Children's Hospital at the Department of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. And I divide my work between clinical work in the outpatient clinic for child and adolescent psychiatry and research into mental health within rare disorders. And NF1 is part of this work.
Thank you. Daan, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Daan, I'm 25 years old. I'm a student, still studying, and I like to go to the gym, play football. I'm a bartender, and in my free time, I do some volunteer work for the NFVN in the European context.
Thank you. Marit.
I'm Marit. I'm 33 years old, and I work at the daycare center for children between 2 years old and 4 years old. And in my free time, I do volunteer work for the Dutch patient organization as a patient advocate.
Thank you very much. So in the last episode, we spoke about the so-called NF Academy, which is organized for young adults between 18 and 35 years living with NF. Marit and Daan, you both participated at the NF Academy, and there were about 18 participants back then. Are you still in contact with some of them?
Not on a daily basis,
No.
but what I've told, I think last episode as well, I see some in the European coming together. Sometimes we, at least one meeting online a month. Then I see some, last year we went to Barcelona to see each all physically. And then I also saw some people who were in my academy.
Okay, and you, Marit?
I participated a few years ago already. So in the beginning, I had contact with a lot of people. But nowadays, I have contact with one participant, one girl from Ireland. I still text sometimes.
And while you were in academy in the week with all these different people from all over Europe, was the contact with these people different than the regular contact you have with like people without NF?
Well, yes. I mean, there's of course one big factor that you all share, and that's having NF1. And I think last episode we already kind of touched upon the subject that it's a really broad spectrum. I don't know. there's like a lot of things. I mean, I think if you already, me and Marit already like differ a lot in our symptoms. So the one big factor, having all NF1 together connects us in that way. So the contact is different than with regular people. That sounds really weird. But
is it a subject that you would address regularly or just incidentally when you're contacting other people with NF?
You mean having NF1, the NF1 subject?
NF
No. I think we talked. There were like some Danish guys, and we talked mostly about football, not about NF1. Because I mean, it's part of you, but it's not. It doesn't define who you are. So no, I wouldn't say that we talk a lot about NF1. But sometimes on vulnerable moments, you can kind of understand each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the beginning you talk a lot about NF because you're there for a reason. You take part of the NF Academy, and for some people, it's the first time they met other people with NF. And I find it very interesting because what you said, Dan, the symptoms are very different, but we still feel this connection. And there are always some kind of parts of your story that you recognize from your own story, although the symptoms can be very different.
Yeah. And this connection, has it made you different? Is there a Marit before and after the academy? Does it change you emotionally or socially?
That is a tough question. I'm not sure if it changed me a lot. Because even before the academy, I thought a lot about me having NF and which symptoms came from the NF and which symptoms are just me who I am as a person. We talked about that in the last episode as well. I felt very welcome there and I learned a lot. And I think I developed my skills as a patient advocate. Yeah, so I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and it also changes your knowledge, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
NF1, and it perhaps makes it easier to talk about it, or was that also the same?
I'm not sure if it makes it easier because I was open about me having NF also before the NF Academy. But maybe I learned more about how to speak about it to people who really don't know what the disease
I think
is.
It's an easier way of telling what it really
to
entails.
Explain.
Yeah. So you learn like kind of baby words to explain to people who are not in like the medical, who are not familiar in the medical world what it really means or what it really means, what it could mean.
Yeah, and in the beginning it took me 5 minutes to explain about NF. But I learned more how to kind of summarize it or tell, like what you said, Dan, in baby words, NF.
And afterwards, we got from some participants, we got a text where they told us that this girl from Ireland said she was that proud because in the bus there was this kid asking about her neurofibromatosis or neurofibromas, and she was really fluent, and she was really surprised about herself that she was that direct and fluent, because before she would have been more apprehensive and a bit more shocked, perhaps even that somebody notices your symptoms and directly addresses you about it. So it has an effect on some participants.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think one of the powers of the NF Academy as well is that this is going to sound really harsh, but you're kind of forced to get in contact with what you really have and what you're feeling. And once you experience that feeling for once, I think it's way easier to put it into words. So it might feel really uncomfortable the first days or whatever, or the first few minutes, but after that, I think it really helps everyone. I've saw some people like really lighten up during the week. Some people who didn't say a word the first few days, and then at the last 2 days, I was like sometimes like, "You've talked enough now."
That's enough.
Yeah,
You're catching up too much.
So I think so. An example of something in the bus, I think that describes also how nice or how important the NF Academy could be for some people. Like really, really getting to know yourself a bit as well.
Yeah. And does it have an effect also in a way that you see that people understand better what NF is about or what you are about? So when you explain it to a professional or lay persons, that they're more understanding. They perhaps they take fatigue more into account, or does it have that effect?
I think I'm still learning about how to explain about NF because sometimes I have explained. I think I have the thought that I explained it very well, and then a few weeks, for example, later, someone asked me, or that person asked me, "Oh, but does the tumors? Is it also part of NF?" And I'm thinking, yes, but I thought I explained it, but probably not well enough. So I'm still looking for the best way to explain what NF kind of disease.
It's okay that they ask these questions. I mean,
it's
good that they're open, that they're also...
Yeah, because sometimes I hear other stories, and I think that's one of the main reasons that I want to be a patient advocate, because I hear story about people who go to like a swimming pool or something, and they aren't allowed to go into the swimming pool because of how they look. And that makes me so extremely angry that I wanted to go to that people and yell at them, well, what are you doing? And do you understand what that can result to people? And you make people very insecure. And how... Well, I can't even explain it to words. I don't know the words to say. But
it's
makes me so angry.
People can be really ignorant.
I want to be tell everybody about NF, so there's more people understand what it is.
If there would have been one goal for the NF Academy, it would be this, wouldn't it?
Exactly. This is what it's all about, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, empowering people, being a real ambassador. Really great. Yeah. So you are both part of the NFVN, that's the Dutch patient organization. Are you more involved in the Dutch patient organization since you attended the academy?
I wasn't involved before the NF Academy, so for me that's a yes.
What are you doing now within the NFVN?
I am representing the NFVN at the NFPU meetings. So in easy words, I'm kind of the Dutch ambassadors in the European context. Yep. So once a month we have like a meeting together, talk a little bit about what's all going on in other countries, and maybe we can learn from each other or help each other organize stuff together, like big surveys, for example.
And you, Marit?
Yes, I'm doing more for the local organization, the Dutch patient organization. I organize activities for younger people with NF, and I try to let them have the same experience as I had during the NF Academy. So the peer support, the conversations I had with other people, younger people with NF. So that's my goal, to achieve the same experience for all the younger people in NF in the Netherlands.
You're quite successful, aren't you? I mean, how big is your group now?
I think there are about 20 people in it.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I'm very, very glad that they're all together now in this WhatsApp group. And I also try to let them get together. But that's sometimes a little bit different because although the Netherlands is a small country, people still need to travel sometimes, and people are getting tired really soon, or people aren't able to go by public transportation by themselves. So I always have to look to an activity that's in the middle of the country and it's not take too long. And I'm still looking for the best activities to organize.
I think the Dutch also have a tendency to complain about traveling distances.
Yes, it's also very Dutch.
Such a small country, but still such a distance.
Yeah. Yes.
And would you encourage other people to become an NF ambassador?
Yes, of course. I think it's very beautiful to see what you can achieve. I'm getting a very good feeling if I get people together, and if people who are very shy, or I had some boy in the group who was a lot of time at home, and now he's coming to the activities I organize, and that's really something really beautiful to achieve.
That's rewarding.
Yeah, and I think the hard fact or hard part as well is that nobody else is going to do it because it's still a rare disease. It might be the most common rare disease, but because it's rare, there is not that much attention for it. So if not even us NF patients or NF people with NF is going to do it, who is? So yeah, that was also a reason for me to participate, is we're the only ones who can like get the attention on the fact that there's a lot of people suffering from this disease. So yeah, it has two sides, and this is a little bit of the, well, not so nice side. At the same time, it is really nice that you can do something about it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, doing something active is really important. Yeah. Would you do NF Academy again, Marit? I know you've did it twice already.
Twice.
So I think a third time maybe it's a bit too much, but would you recommend people to do it a second time?
Yes, it was a very beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't have the feeling that you had things double or...
No, and there were a lot of people for the second time when I went for the second time. So we did get other information as well, and other activities. Yeah.
Okay, and Daan, you only did it once, so you're eligible maybe for a second time. What are your thoughts?
Well, I might. Of course, it was a really nice experience, and I would want to experience it again. But I also wouldn't want to take up a place for somebody joining for the first time. So maybe if it's in Rotterdam, I would just join for a few days instead of the full week.
Yeah, it's in Rotterdam again, so next door to you now.
Next door,
and the maximal age was again?
35.
35.
It's 18 to 35. Yeah.
You could both attend.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time left. Yeah.
That's a good remark that you want to leave a space open for people who could join it for the first time.
And you're going to do it the second time as well?
I'm going to do it the second time. Yeah, I'm only there for the mental health day, so that we have a full day with the full group, which is nice because we start with this information round, but quite soon we're into the interaction mode, and we really get to know people more and get them to open up more about mental issues. And in the afternoon we do a mental health game, which is also nice because it's a bit competitive. And
the atmosphere was good.
Yeah, the atmosphere is really good. Yeah, I was wondering, is there some kind of aftercare after every academy? Are there people available to ask questions or to share things or to share experiences?
Yeah, that's available, but it's usually online because it's quite hard to get people from all over Europe back to one place again. And what we see, and I think you've experienced that as well, that people form WhatsApp groups. And in the beginning, there's a lot of activity going on in these WhatsApp groups. So the participants support themselves as well. And just by being able to connect with peers, which can be a big support as well. Yeah. So when you did the mental health day, have you seen people change or opening up, or maybe it's too short?
Yeah, it's quite short, but as I said the last time, that they come in as a quite close group, and it's a quite safe group as well. So people are really eager to listen to each other. Sometimes there's a lot of humor going around, so it's really hard to grab everybody's attention again. So it's a really good and safe atmosphere to share their thoughts. That wasn't quite an answer to your question, was it?
Well, my question was if you see changes going on in people. Well, I think
that's quite short, but then again, sometimes, as Daan already addressed, there are these persons that are on the background, and sometimes if you give them the word, they might tell more, and they're more getting more confident in sharing their information. And what also is emerging is that there are these differences between the different countries, and there's a lot of discussion going on. And how did you arrange that in your country, and how could we do that? And I'm really jealous of how it's organized here. How did that start? So this information is also really necessary. So the frustration that comes from, well, you have a really well organized mental health care, and we don't. That helps people also to help them later on when they return to their home countries.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is. I also heard somebody say that she really found her voice. And I thought that was a really nice way to say it. She found her voice as an ambassador, as a patient. She knows how to explain things, and she's really active in her own patient organization now. So I think that's a big win for the for
sometimes
the
there are 2 or 3 people from one country, and I think they really support each other as well during and after the academy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to young people who are considering joining the NF Academy? Do you have any words for them or advice?
Just do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might seem scary, but I think you're in this together, so you're not alone in any sense. And it probably will also be someone from your own country as well. So I don't see any reason why not.
Why not to do it? Okay.
No, I think everybody is a little bit scared when they're going, because you don't know who you're gonna meet and what you're going to do. But what you said, you're all in it together and you experience it together and you have some big thing in common. So just go. Yeah, I think.
Just go for it without any doubt.
Discover that you can share things freely, and there's nothing bad happening when you speak up and you talk about things you encounter in your daily life that are hard or that make you sad. Everybody's quite supportive, independent of what you're feeling or what you're sharing.
Yeah. And there's time to rest if you need. There's time to go to bed early. So
you have the possibility to step out if it's too much. So
exactly.
it's on your own tempo and all.
And then again, everybody's respectful. I mean, nobody blames each other. So the safe environment, I've been there twice now, and that's really what struck me, that people are caring and it's safe. Yeah.
You just need a few words and everybody will understand what you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to explain a lot of things.
So do you have any other thing you want to share, or a story or a personal thought? Because I think we've come to an end a bit on this episode.
The final thoughts are really hard to think of. So maybe coming back to one of the questions of André, I wouldn't say really the NF Academy will change you or as a person, but I think at least what it did for me was being a bit more aware of my disease. I also don't really like to call it disease, to be fair. That really sounds weird.
Perhaps?
Condition, maybe. But yeah, I think before I was always like, I'm okay with it. But during the week, you kind of see that you hide things and you open up with them. And I think it only makes you stronger. So, don't doubt, just do it.
Exactly. And you're an ambassador now.
I'm an ambassador.
That's something that really changed.
Such an ambassador, yeah.
You, Marit?
Yes. Yeah, well, as an ambassador, I hope this podcast reach out, and also people without NF will listen to this podcast. So there will be more, people will know about, more people will know about NF.
And they know how important it is to do educational things like the academy and how it can change your life and being active as an ambassador. Yeah, great. Well, then, thanks a lot for sharing. Thanks a lot for joining. And I hope you've enjoyed this podcast as much as I did. If you like to see more, if you like to join us on the social, you can look for @NF Patients United. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can contact us at any time. For now, we close this podcast part 2, and we hope to see you again. Bye.